Hello everybody and welcome back to Extra Holiday Games. I'm Extra Holiday and we're going back to Wendy's Frosty Fortress because we haven't beat it yet, mostly. And I was talking about humor and seriousness in stories. And I don't know that I actually had anything else to add. I guess, like, yeah, just don't rely solely on one of them. I think that's one of the things I have learned in stories. And actually, to tie this back into D&D, that's one of the things I really like about D&D, and specifically like as being a DM in D&D is I actually don't have to be funny when I'm a DM or even as a player, because there are other people who are, just by virtue of, you know, being together in a group and being friends or just being in a place to have fun, you know, doing an activity, a shared activity to have fun, there will be people cracking jokes and there will be humorous things that happen. Which is a real relief to me as a DM when, you know, it means I can just focus on making a serious story and then let the players provide the humor, which is great. Which isn't to me say that I don't sometimes, which I don't contribute to it sometimes. But like, in our last session, one of our players asked to roll to hide his boner. And he succeeded. He actually rolled really well on it, so like nobody noticed that he had an erection. And it was funny. Like, admittedly, it was funny. It was totally not something I expected. But like, that's one of the luxuries of being a DM. It's that, you know, stuff like that will happen. Like, your players are gonna goof off a little bit. And I enjoy that. I really, really do. Man, I love D&D. Like, I feel like there was a little bit, because I've been listening to a lot of D&D, and I've been working on D&D and, you know, DMing and stuff. D&D's been a big part of my life lately. And I did feel for maybe just a second that I was getting a little bit tired of it. Right, I had, particularly, it was like a couple days before our last session. I felt like, okay, well, I've been listening to so much, like, basically I had the thought of like, okay, I don't want to listen to more D&D in my free time. And that was strange to me because, as I've stated before, one of my goals is to keep up with what's going on in Arcadum's world. And so, you know, to be like, I don't really want to listen to it right now. It seemed a little strange. It went against my goal, but like, it's just kind of what I was feeling. But then I played another session with the guys, and it was fun. And I'm like, man, this is great. And now I'm listening to Arcadum's D&D again, and I'm like, man, this is great. I love this. It's wonderful. Yeah. And I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but there might be another player joining our group, which is funny, because I wasn't expecting it, but they are, in fact, totally welcome if they want to join. Because I happen to know this person already, and they're a pretty cool person. So I'm just kind of waiting to see if any one of the players that know him better want to invite him, because I told them they could. So he might be joining, which would be neat. It would bring the party size to 5, which is probably more optimal than 4. Personally, for some reason, I just have a fondness for having 4 players in a game, but I don't know, maybe it's because whenever I played, there was always 4 players, and when I DM'd originally, there was 4 players. That might be it. But point is, 4 or 5, either one I feel is a good number. 6 is where it might start to get a little unwieldy. Because even just from a practical standpoint, we're kind of running out of space around the table. So even with just the 4 of us, or 5 of us, myself included, we're almost running out of space. But you know what? We could probably squeeze 1 more in. And also, you know, if you get too many players in your game, then not everyone gets to take a turn, basically. I mean, in combat they do, because you can't really just exclude a player from combat unless their character actually isn't there for whatever reason. Like in social encounters and stuff. Yeah, I feel like there is such a thing as too big a party. And 6 might be that. At least for me. Also, like, as a DM, 6 players is 6 people whose abilities I have to keep track of. Close track of, even, because a lot of them don't know the game quite as well as I do. And I'm in charge of making sure things run correctly. So yeah, it would basically, more players makes my job a little harder, but that's fine. It's fine to an extent. I don't mind to an extent. Okay. There is also such a thing as too few players. I don't know. I mean, I could do it, but I don't know how comfortable I would be running a session for 1 player. That'd be, I don't know, it almost feels a little too intimate at that point. Like, I kind of want to put some distance between me and the players, and having other players there is a good way to do that, you know? There's I guess one reason why I might say that it feels a little too intimate is I've had scenarios, even with, you know, parties of 3, 4, 5 people, where people took the DM's decision, whether it was me or someone else. They took the DM's decision personally, which is not how it's supposed to go. First of all, the DM's not supposed to make decisions on a personal basis. And also, players aren't supposed to take it as, well, they're just screwing me over because they want to screw me over. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. Either way. But I've been in scenarios where that sort of thing was, if not outright accused, at least implied. And it's not fun, you know. It's not a great situation to be in on any seat at the table. So, I feel like that would be a lot more likely. I feel like that gets more likely the fewer players you have. So if it's just 1 player and 1 DM, then I feel like the chances are basically at their maximum of someone getting insulted because the DM ruled a certain way. So basically, I've set my minimum people in a party at 2. I could probably fairly comfortably DM. I say fairly comfortably because I don't know that I'm comfortable at all DMing right now. Or I'm not totally comfortable DMing yet. And some of it might be because I'm out of practice. Some of it might be because I have a much better idea nowadays of what good DMing looks like. But I'm not totally comfortable DMing yet. And hopefully I'll get to a point where I am, or at least more comfortable than I am. Because, I mean, if I'm totally comfortable, then that means I'm probably not pushing myself. And if I'm not pushing myself, then am I gonna improve? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't know. 2 to 6 players. It's basically what I'm looking for in a party. Actually, preferably 3 to 5, but 2 to 6. Those are my limits. Not that anyone listening to this really needs to know that, probably. But also those could change. Like, I could get more comfortable with the idea of doing one-on-one. I could get more comfortable with the idea of, 10 people at once in a session. Which I kind of might need to, because if I'm doing similar stuff to what Arcadum's doing, then there will be different people from different campaigns playing in the same sessions at times. And that can get messy. And I don't want to watch it yet, because I feel like I have a lot of stuff to catch up on before that. But I really kind of want to see how Arcadum handled the end game of his latest story arc, of his previous story arc, not the one he's currently on, but I want to see how he handled the end game, because from what I heard, there was like 35 players all in that session, which is a lot of people. A lot of people. That's like an entire room full of people. Like a large... That's basically the size of my largest class in high school. And I guess any teacher of that size of class could probably tell you getting that many people to focus on one thing and all operate together on one thing is generally not easy. But I feel like if there's one thing that a DM absolutely has to have, and that would help with that scenario, it's patience. You really, as a DM, you have to be patient. Like, there's no way around it. You can't, because people are going to interrupt you, people are going to talk over you, people are going to do things that you don't expect, that you don't necessarily want them to be doing, like, that don't go with your plans. So you gotta be a little patient sometimes, most of the time, even. Like, I've even players, if you're listening, I love you, but they have already tested my patience before. And it not in a severe way, but it has happened. And luckily, at least I consider myself this, I tend to be a fairly patient person. Which I think is, if anything, I think that potentially qualifies me to be a DM. If not skill, if not creativity, then my patience at least. But yeah, you gotta be patient. That's all. Because an impatient DM is one that, you know, yells at players, and one that, you know, kills a party just because they're annoyed. That sort of thing. And that's generally not what people are looking for out of D&D, you know? Just generally. But maybe more people will find what they're looking for next time. Because, as for this episode, that's a wrap. Check out the stream.